good morning to you and a happy 2019. What a blessing to see the start of this year. It's Books and Blogs. My name is Catherine Mwangi and I thank you for joining us. This January we are doing it a little bit more special, taking it a notch higher for our high school students. We'll have some invigorating conversations moderated by trainers, examiners, teachers of various high schools in Kenya with students on the panel, and we'll get to dissect and unpack each one as it were every single Monday. To kickstart our conversation this first Monday of the year, I am privileged to have Sifuna Otoa, who is a teacher of English literature at the M-Pesa Foundation Academy, and he's also an examiner of English Paper 3. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Distinguished gentleman.
Thank you, Catherine.
Making the time.
I have the pleasure to be on set.
Yes.
I've been watching this set for some time.
Okay.
And I cannot be so delighted now that you have brought in the segment that analyzes and demystifies literature. There is a misconception from the students that literature is hard.
Yes.
Today we shall dissect and make it simple.
I love it.
Thank
you like to wish the viewers Happy New Year?
Happy New Year. We have just come from the Christmas. I hope you did enjoy yourselves. But as they say, a new year brings good tidings. It's going to be a wonderful 2019.
Amazing. So now you're ready to sit on my seat.
Yeah.
And carry this away.
The seat might be so big, but let me assure you.
I know you're well able.
Let me assure you that because it is something I teach almost on a day-to-day basis, The Blossoms of the Savannah, which is the compulsory novel written by Henry Ole Kulet, is going to be enjoyable, interactive, and educative.
Let's walk to the set and meet the students.
Thank you very much.
Come with me this way.
Okay. Hello viewers, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this particular set that is going to analyze, demystify and make literature fun and easy to understand among the Kenyan high school students. As you know, many students have taken literature as a very difficult concept. Today, we are going to demystify that and we are going to analyze The Blossoms of the Savannah, which is a compulsory novel. To help me bring this idea home, I have the privilege of having 3 girls and 1 boy on set. Right next to me is Georgina from Nia Girls, Siaya County.
Hello viewers.
Next, I have a gentleman who appears very ready for the task, Joseph from Koyokochea, Homa Bay County.
Hello viewers.
Next, we have the one and only Terry from Nyandarua High School in Nyandarua County.
Hey viewers.
And last but not least, we have Lucy from Nia Girls, Siaya County.
Hello viewers.
Okay, having introduced ourselves, and I also wish now to say I am Otoa Sifuna, teacher of English literature from the M-Pesa Foundation Academy. This is going to be an interactive session where we are going to just have a discussion about the novel. To start us off, we are going to look at the title, Blossoms of the Savannah. As you can see, students, Blossoms of the Savannah has a very well elaborate pictogram represented on our front cover of the book. This book, you all know, was written by Henry Ole Kulet. Is there anything amongst you that you know about this particular author, Henry Ole Kulet? Yes, Lucy?
As he has written in the book, I know he is from the Ma community.
He is from the Ma community. That's a very brilliant identification. Apart from that, anything about Henry Ole Kulet?
Henry Ole Kulet, he's trying to show us what used to happen in his community in the past.
In the past. Another very good revelation. And Lucy?
So Henry Kulet has also written some other novels.
Yes.
This includes Bandits of Kibibi and Daughters of Ma.
The Daughters of the Ma. And you can see that most of his writing is actually centered along the Ma people, the Ma cultural orientation. Now, that is just briefly about the author. Looking at the title, My first quick question to you all is, what is the meaning of this word blossoming? To blossom. Yes, yeah. Joseph.
The meaning of the word blossoming is just but and developing and a growth act in something.
Yes, developing. Any addition from any other part? Yes, Lucy?
Okay. To blossom, it's like to flourish or thrive through a situation.
Yeah. So you can see that actually you have the right definition of the word blossoming. To blossom is to flourish, to come to fruition, to have that impetus, that growth, that realization that you are doing well. We have talked about the blossoming. Now this blossoming is taking place in the Savannah. Anybody with a suggestion of the Savannah? Yes.
Like a suggestion, the Savannah, it is a place that is so dry, many challenges, you know, there's no water and all that. And when you look at the book, Blossoms of the Savannah, it is very hard. You cannot expect something to blossom from the Savannah. Okay. So, yeah, I think that is what is being brought out in the book.
Joseph, could you be having?
Yeah. I could be having some clue about the blossoms of the Savannah. Like, if you look at the situation of the Savannah, there's many challenges, tough challenges, like there's the predators, the preys, and many others, many other animals and the plants or the valleys. Yes. Yeah. You know? So you can't expect something to just go through the Savannah and come to develop in a swift way. It might be tough.
Okay, so your point, basically you are bringing it from a scientific point of view. Yeah. That it is not a walk in the park in the Savannah ecosystem. Yeah. There's the struggle for the fittest. Yeah. Yes, Georgina?
I think that a Savannah is just a dry place where we have hardly vegetation. Yes. And what they're trying to bring out about from the blossoms of the Savannah, they're trying to show us, despite of the Savannah being dry, it blossomed. Yeah. Something grew out of it.
And I really like that analogy, that despite the hardship in the Savannah, there is something that is blossoming. You are very brilliant boys and boy and girl, girls. I wish to now ask you to relate this particular assertion, that metaphorical title, which we have explained very well, to what now we have in the book. This book, you and I know, is talking about two girls that experience a lot of difficulty in the quest of achieving their independence and emancipation. Who can tell us the two girls, the main protagonists in this book?
Tayo and Resian.
Tayo and Resian. Could you tell me some of the challenges that they actually undergo? And just like we have said, it's not a walk in the park in the Savannah. Very quickly before we start looking at the story.
So along the way, they are introduced to a culture that they think is primitive and retrogressive. That's FGM, female genital mutilation, and also early marriage. And they fail to go to pursue their further education.
Oh, very well. Bringing in two hurdles that the two girls face. Early marriage, or forced marriage, as we can put it, and FGM. What is you could meet somebody, a layman, and he asks you, what is FGM in full?
FGM in full is the female genital mutilation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want you to be freely come out and explain something about FGM. Merits and demerits. Anybody with who can take on that?
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I've never heard of a merit of FGM, but then there are demerits, because first, it lowers the self-esteem of someone. It really lowers the self-esteem, mostly in this generation we're living in. And since it is not allowed by the government, like, you know, it can also, it just lowers the self-esteem, kind of.
Any other thing, just generally now, outside of the context of the novel? Merits, demerits of female genital mutilation. Do you think girls should be subjected to the cut?
No.
Because, or rather, sorry for cutting, do we still have communities in Kenya that still practices female genital mutilation?
Yeah, in Kenya, there's some communities, let's say a hand of communities that do practice the female genital mutilation still to date, but the government is trying to maybe stop the act. But according to me, I'm a male. I can't say the merits, but I have the demerits. Maybe it can lead to death.
Yeah.
Like in the past, we've all seen the news. In the news, there were some girls who underwent the act, and they lost a lot of blood, which could even lead to death. Yeah.
The girls themselves, we wish to get this clearly before we delve deeper into the subject matter that Henry Olekulet tries to put, because a larger percentage of the plot analysis here is looking at the girls trying to evade this particular barbaric act that is described as being archaic and retrogressed. Do you think girls should be subjected to female genital mutilation?
No.
No.
I don't think that girls should be subjected to FGM, because in the past they only thought that FGM will empower a woman to do what she does. But still, after the FGM, I did not see any changes in the women in their culture as to the power they were given after the FGM. The only thing that it does, it brings physical pain to the woman, and also lowers her self-esteem in what she does.
Yeah. I'm quite glad that you understand the full concept of the effect of FGM. Now, and you rightly put it that there is a very elaborate struggle in Kenya to combat this particular retrogressed act. There is actually an FGM body that and even the laws that have been put across are very punitive. Any parent who tries to subject his or her daughter to this particular act is met with the wrath of this particular law. So without much ado, let's try to look at the storyline. We are just interested at picking the episodic examples from this particular story. The novel starts us off at a particular setting in Nakuru. Who can tell us basically what is happening when the novel opens at Nakuru?
So the novel opens while Olekaelo, who's the man, or rather the father of the family that is mainly being talked about in the book, is ordering people to, put things into a truck so they can move, because they were relocating from Nakuru, moving to Nasila.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can also, like, the girls are also staring outside, like looking, thinking about how life would be like when they go to Nasila. Nasila is a very rural area, and they're coming from an urban place. So going to, fit in, or rather maybe start accepting that they're living in a rural place and they have moved from an urban place is going to be a very hard task.
So if I did get you clearly, you are saying that there is a relocation. The family is relocating. Lucy, somebody could ask, why is this family relocating from Nakuru to Nasila?
Okay, so it's after the father, that's Olekaelo, got a retrenchment in his former job, so he has to move back to Nasila.
Yeah. So there is now the effect of losing a job, isn't it? And urban-rural migration, isn't it? Yeah. You have indicated very well, which I want Joseph to explicate further on this. The idea of juxtaposition or contrast created between Nakuru and Nasila.
Yeah, Nakuru was kind of a busy town, or kind of sort of, which had many roads, the buildings, and it was noisy kind of, and from the point of view that Resian it is stated in the book, is like Nasila was quiet, had breezes, and she even could not imagine that she was coming from an area that she liked most, then going to somewhere that he was somehow oppressed. Yeah.
Very well. Your realization of the setting is actually on spot, and therefore, if somebody asks you, is it better to live in a rural or an urban dwelling, given that particular description?
Yeah, according to me, I will rather live in a rural area, because in the rural areas you'll find time, like let's say the nature, these trees, let's say
the serenity.
Yeah, the serenity, the climate or something, the quietness of the place.
Who has a contrary opinion to Joseph?
Me can prefer to stay in an urban area, because yeah, in an urban area there are so many different kinds of people, different things to do there. So
yes,
you interact with different people of different nature, and then yeah, in rural areas.
So yours is on social aspect,
Yeah.
socialism and meeting friends. Why is Reshan so obsessed with going back to Nakuru, even when they settled in Nasila?
According to me, Resian really wants to stay back at Nakuru. From this story, we can see that Resian is a go-getter. The reason why she wants to remain behind, she wants to pursue her dream of studying at Egerton University.
Yeah, and that echoes the very point Terry was saying about opportunities. I think there appears to be an imbalanced opportunities in rural and urban dwellings. Do you support that?
Yes.
Yeah. So the family finally settles in Nasila, a very quiet, serene environment. The only noise being that of a what?
For birds.
Of birds. But there's a big problem in Nasila that comes to haunt the girls. Who could tell us more about it?
So the girls are really faced by many challenges. Like, you know, people are calling them names because they are uncircumcised. And according to the Nasilian culture,
yes,
they're supposed to be circumcised. That is when you can be called a woman.
Yes.
So for them, they were given the name Intoye Nemengalana.
Yeah.
That is in the, it is a Maasai name.
Local dialect.
Yeah. So when, you know, it is also very hurting when someone calls you names and like people are just looking at them like, you're not, you know, you are not woman enough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So they really went through many challenges. Like they were affected, and okay, fitting in was a problem.
On that note, we are taking a short break. When we just come back, we shall know where that loan was taken from and what was the ramification of that particular loan to our plot development. Thank you very much. Can you clap for yourself to that extent?